If you're a leader who loves thinking about the big picture vision, but also is strategic, you may be a Polaris Pointer. In this series, we talk about leadership superpowers, and the Polaris Pointer is a leader who has a blend of two very important strengths. One is the visioning part, the ability to see that future, to see where the team needs to head, but not just stay high up in the clouds, be all conceptual and everything, but also to be strategic, to know what that pathway, what that roadmap is to get to that future. So Polaris Pointers have that unique blend of the strategic insight and also the ability to cast vision and inspire trust and engagement with their team. Because a Polaris Pointer is pointing towards a future direction, the team is able to move that way. Now, the reason that this leader is called the Polaris Pointer is because Polaris is the name of the North Star. So the North Star is the idea of the vision, the purpose, the direction that everybody needs to be facing. And Polaris Pointers really excel at helping people to stay looking at that star instead of wandering off and doing their own thing. Polaris Pointers enjoy a number of activities, and they're good at them. One is crafting and communicating vision. Because they have the view of that big picture, they are able to articulate it in a clear way that makes sense for people because they're also strategic. So it's not just this conceptual, soft, mushy future, but there is actually some concreteness to it in what the team needs to do in order to make that vision happen. And because they're strategic, they enjoy having strategic discussions, whether that's strategic planning or just talking about more strategic issues that are going on, or exploring the different factors or issues that need to be addressed. Polaris Pointers are also great at leading transformation. They know that their team is here and it needs to get to there, and that's not just going to happen automatically. So Polaris Pointers are really wonderful at cultivating and generating a sense of ownership and understanding among their team, so the team knows where they're going and they can feel like they're part of the process. Polaris Pointers are adaptable because they don't just set the strategy and put everything on autopilot and assume it will get done. They're monitoring the things that are going on in the environment. They're looking around to see, does anything need to change here? Do I need to adapt my strategy? Polaris Pointers are great contributors to making vision actually happen. They have that ability to see the big picture and to boil it down into a pathway that people can take. They provide that clear communication so that people can see where they fall into the big picture and how that vision is actually going to come true. With every superpower comes gaps. And for Polaris Pointers, there's a couple gaps that they may experience. First of all, there might be an over-reliance on delegation, and that's because Polaris Pointers like to stay higher level. They don't like to get into all the operational day-to-day weeds. So what might happen is that they might delegate something to somebody and not follow up because they just assume it's happening or they just don't want to deal with the details. And so things can actually get off track because of that. They have the ability to balance vision with execution, but sometimes ensuring that day-to-day execution is actually aligning with the long-term strategy may also not be one of their strengths because it does involve getting into the details. And because they're so strategic, the way is so clear. You immediately see what needs to be done. And sometimes you can move a little bit too quickly for your team. Sometimes there are actually missing elements to the strategy that a Polaris Pointer might not have thought of because they knew exactly where they were going and automatically built that road to get there. So bringing people in with a wide variety of perspectives is an important part of ensuring that you have a robust roadmap to that future and that there are no significant gaps. I believe in the power of partnership. And so if you are a Polaris Pointer, I recommend that you partner with an execution engineer. Execution engineers are great at getting things done. They love getting into the details. They love to make things happen. And so you, as a Polaris Pointer, need to clarify that direction and where you're headed and also empower them to do the work. Both of you can use your superpowers and ensure that that vision comes to life. If you'd like to find out what your leadership superpower is, head on over to terraformleader.com, where you can take a free Discover Your Leadership Superpower quiz. And from that quiz, you can discover what your personal leadership superpower is that you can use to leverage and raise the effectiveness of you as a leader and that of your team.